Welcome. This is Dr. David D. Sehein, your host for Saving America in our segment that we call In the News. Bidumb, not surprisingly, has dived 11 points in the polls since earlier in the year. His average polling earlier in the year was around 55%. It's down around 45%, 44% now. And why would that be? Because he is a total failure. Now, the reality is, for those clowns who voted for this loser, is that he's always been a loser. He's someone who has been in Washington for almost 50 years and has accomplished nothing except getting reelected and then elected. And it's just ludicrous what has happened. And of course, the perception of Biden was that he would run as a somewhat moderate individual, kind of reminiscent of the old Bill Clinton operation, where Clinton, who was a liberal and a loser, at least had the smarts to say, you know what, I've lost control of both houses of Congress. I think I better start running towards the middle. And that's the only reason that he got reelected, besides running against a fairly weak candidate in the 1996 elections. But it is interesting to me that this guy Biden instead has moved toward the left, which was not anybody's anticipated. I'm sure many of the independents and centrist Democrats who voted for him expected him to take a much more moderate path. Certainly not blowing out Afghanistan, certainly not blowing out the southern border, certainly not running up inflation, certainly not throwing money everywhere except where it needs to be. This is a rather extraordinary situation, but again, Bidumb has earned his low rating, and frankly, I'm surprised that the ratings have not gone down faster, and I do predict that given his disastrous current performance overseas at the G20 conference and now this bogus climate change conference, that where he was reported sleeping instead of doing his job, where some of his live recordings are incredible and reflect mental incompetence, unquestionably, where he's on stage for longer periods of time, or he has to be in the public eye for longer periods of time, and his disabilities are showing. Again, some people might say, gee, Dr. Sehein, you really ought to be more sympathetic. You know, after all, he is an old guy. Hey, you know what? He's always been a dummy. And I'm tired of seeing people cover up for this loser. And the reality is that he's always been a dummy. It's just now he's even dumber. And that's why we call him Bidumb. And no disrespect intended to the office of the president. But when you put somebody like this in the office, you disgrace the office of the president of the United States. Folks, this is Dr. David D. Sehein for In the News, part of Saving America.